good afternoon everyone. Welcome back after lunch. I would like to start with a very powerful quote that basically drives what we do at Earth 100. We don't inherit the world from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. If you look at India today, there are 50 million passenger vehicles in our country. More than 10 million of these, or 12 million, are part of the corporate fleet that is used to transport employees, guests, etc. for large corporates in the country. 1 million of these are in just 4 cities: Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad and Bangalore. What is the impact of these 50 million passenger vehicles? More than 400 million tons of carbon dioxide that is thrown out into the atmosphere every single year. Rising air pollution levels is what our future generations can expect if we don't take action today. What do we believe in? We believe that if viable, sustainable alternative sources of fuel are available for a consumer, they will choose to move away from fossil fuels. If they move away from fossil fuels, the demand for these fossil fuels will go down. Our import bill, because we import 80% if not more of our diesel in the country, will go down. As a result of which there will be a significant impact on the inflation in our country, and of course the air pollution levels in our country will come down. We are Earth 100 Biofuels. We are running India's first and only commercial fleet of, well, we would like to be 300 cars on 100% biofuel. We are trying to use no fossil fuels at all in our car. We are replacing diesel cars, so we are not an ethanol replacement company. Why biofuels? Well, if you look at fossil fuels, they are highly polluting simply because they as a fuel are into incomplete combustion. There isn't enough oxygen in our combustion engines to eliminate particulate matter that comes out or carbon monoxide that comes out. Biofuels, on the other hand, have been proven to be up to 78% less polluting. They emit up to 78% less carbon dioxide and almost negligible amounts of carbon monoxide. Secondly, and this is something that we all face in India every single day now because the diesel prices have been deregulated in our country, the price of fossil fuels is going up. But biofuels? Well, biofuels have been very, very stable over the last couple of years. If you look at the market control prices, they are even more stable than the government control prices. The government started out with making biofuels at 25 rupees a litre, and the government price today is 36.5 rupees a litre, which is exactly half of what I can buy diesel at in Delhi. In the open market, biofuel today is available between 40 and 43 rupees a litre, and it has been at that level for the last 2 years. There is no scope for it to increase simply because the biofuel manufacturers are already making money at that level. Fossil fuels in our country are imported. We don't make enough fuel for our country to be able to sustain itself. Biofuels, at least the ones that we are using in our country, are made from indigenously grown feedstock. So these are non-edible sources. We do not want to get into the food versus fuel debate. We are using non-edible sources such as jatropha, pongamia, waste acid oil, used cooking oil, ambadi, etc. These are all indigenously available feedstock in our country. So, what do we at Earth 100 do? We would like to provide a comprehensive leasing solution, and we have been able to do that very successfully. We follow the typical tours and travel model, which is a rate per kilometer service. We are not a radio cab. We are into supplying these leasing solutions to corporates. So we get into long-term contracts, typically an annual contract. Our current contract actually is a 3-year contract, which is not heard of in the tourism travel industry. What do we provide in our leasing solution? Well, we provide a car that has been modified to run on 100% biofuel, but it can also run on diesel. So it runs on any blend of 0 to 100% diesel and biodiesel. This car has been provided to us by Mahindra & Mahindra, and I will talk about that relationship with them a little later into the presentation. Since biofuels are not easily available in the market, we also provide the green fuel to our customer. How do we provide it? We've set up customized dispensing solutions for them. Typically, these are located either in the basements or in the parking lots where all these cars assemble at the end of every single day. We also provide the service and maintenance of a car, which is not significantly different from any other car. However, there is a fixed schedule to follow, and unlike other tours and travel companies, we would like to follow that. We also provide chauffeurs where our customers choose to take them from us. And of course, we provide regular performance tracking so that everyone's on the same page as far as how the cars are doing with them. So as I said, we enter into long-term contracts. We are not a radio cab. We work on a minimum kilometer assurance from our corporates, and therefore the range that we offer on the rate per kilometer can go from 9 rupees a kilometer to 21 rupees a kilometer, which is basically dependent on how many kilometers are assured to us. So a higher number of kilometers, we are obviously cheaper than the market. Now these are very competitive rates if you look at what most of our customers are paying for a diesel car. And I would like to show you based on an actual customer contract that we have. This is what they were paying for their diesel powered car, and this is what they are paying for our car. So if you see, they were taking 10 cars at 3,000 kilometers per month, and they were paying about 17.5 rupees per kilometer for that diesel car, as opposed to we are offering them 14 rupees a kilometer. It's a lakh, 18,000 saving per year for them. Now it's a $6 billion organization, so it might not seem like a very significant impact on their cost saving, but you have to understand, transportation for a company is basically something that they have to do for their employees or their guests. They look at it as a very big cost factor. So any amount of reduction in it makes an operations manager very happy with that. More than that, they also benefit from the environmental aspect of it. So their emissions are going down, and now with the new policy that is coming in where 2% of their profits have to be used for CSR activities, suddenly their costs has become a CSR initiative for them. So their marketing, their CSR, all those bundle up to provide significant benefits to them through this model. So as I was mentioning, our tie-up with Mahindra & Mahindra, that is the most critical tie-up that we have. It's an exclusive tie-up with Mahindra & Mahindra who modifies the Mahindra Scorpios to run on biodiesel for us. It's a technology that is owned by Mahindra, however it is provided to us exclusively and not even to their own retailers. Why did they provide it to us? Well, simply because they were sitting on this technology for the longest time with no intention of going into the market, because they did not want to take the risk of setting up the infrastructure of biodiesel around it. So when we came into the picture, they really liked what we wanted to do and they supported us. This is their initiative to support biodiesel in the country. The second critical factor that we have is of course the fuel. We don't manufacture our own fuel. We again have tie-ups with vendors. We started out with a tie-up with the Chhattisgarh Biodiesel Authority. They have a demonstration plant in Raipur, Chhattisgarh. They are our primary fuel supplier. We have first right to 80% of their capacity every single year. They make fuel from Jatropha. However, because Jatropha is after all an agricultural product and it has its own seasonalities attached to it, we also diversified with two other vendors, Yamuna Industries in Gujarat and Pyrene Industries in Bangalore. Both use different feedstocks, so one uses waste acid oil and the other uses pongamia. So this fuel that is manufactured by these vendors is transported by local transportation to wherever our customers are, which is presently in Delhi. We set up then the dispensing solution for the customer. We have a tie-up in Delhi with HomeSafe India, which is a startup. It provides the chauffeur services for us because, well, for those of you who have used taxi services, you would know drivers are a very big headache as part of the entire supply chain. The other tie-up that we have is with the Mahindra dealers who are trained specifically to deal with the biodiesel cars. Like I said, it's not significantly different from a diesel car. However, there is a specific schedule that needs to be followed and they are trained to deal with that. And we also provide the GPS trackers in the machine, in the cars so that there is enough performance tracking happening. So what have we done so far? We were set up in December 2007. The first thing that we did was to tie up with Mahindra & Mahindra and we did a pilot project with Goldman Sachs in Bangalore. We had significant learnings from that pilot, to say the least. We actually had the staff and actually the top management in Goldman Sachs Bangalore stranded on the road with our cars simply because, well, the quality of biofuels was terrible. We had a tie-up with a private operator who was from basically the vegetable oil industry and it is full of adulteration. So the first thing that we learned from that pilot was you need to get the quality of biodiesel absolutely right because you're using 100% biodiesel. There is no scope for adulteration at all. It needs to be absolutely pristine. So that's what we did. We spent a significant amount of time and found the Chhattisgarh government. It's a very rudimentary plant that they have in Raipur, but it provides the best quality of biofuel at a viable rate in the country. I can of course go to the CSM CRI and buy biofuel at 213 rupees a litre as well, but then I won't be commercially viable at all. So Chhattisgarh provides the best quality of fuel as ratified by Mahindra and Mahindra at their R&D facility, as ratified by Mercedes-Benz at their R&D facility, and they provide it at a very commercial viable number. We also managed to raise $100,000 in angel funding from Jindal Power Limited. They have supported us in our operations, so this $100,000 wasn't given to us in one tranche. They basically told us they will support us for the next 3 years in our operations as we setting about our supply chain. So from 2009 to 2011, we established the entire supply chain. We got all the ratifications done for the biofuel. We tested it out continuously on our car. We have a demo car in Delhi, which we use and abuse on every single possible feedstock that we can come up with, at any blend that we can come up with, at any terrain that we can come up with. And we really wanted to see that biodiesel could work anywhere in the country. And we've been able to successfully prove that. So in 2012, we finally went commercial and we said, okay, we are ready to go commercial and we need to get some customers. We were lucky enough to sign up the first 2 customers in the first month that we went commercial. However, we were stuck by financial norms because the Indian government says that as a private company, I need to own these vehicles. I cannot supply biofuel to an organization. Only Indian government agencies are allowed to supply biodiesel. So what do? I supply a service. So I need to own the car and then I package the whole thing around biodiesel and supply it as a rate per kilometer service. That is something that we are working on with the MNRE very actively to change, because there will be a lot of norms that will ease out the biodiesel industry, with this change that we want to bring about. So in 2012, after signing up the customers, we managed to raise some funding, and in 2013, we deployed the first order. So in January 2013, we raised our first bill actually for our customer. We currently have an order book of 50 cars, and we are looking for funding, of course, to service that order, and I will talk about the funding requirement a little later. So these are the people behind Earth 100. We have our investor seat from Jindal Power, Mr. Sushil Maru, who is the Deputy MD for Jindal Power. He has significant experience in financial, in finance, in the renewable energy industry, in power, and also brings about a lot of synergies with the government because he deals and interacts with them on a regular level, and therefore we are able to reach out to them through him. Akshat Rathi is the co-founder. He's the managing director as a designation. He is ex-Ernst & Young, as am I. We both have a consulting background, and we basically set this up because we were doing a consulting assignment for Goldman Sachs, and they said that they love the idea but they would like us to set it into operations. So I'm like, well, we are consultants, we don't do this, we just tell you to do it. They said, no, we trust you, we don't want to talk to Mahindra, we don't want to talk to anyone, why don't you do it for us? So we went to Mahindra. Mahindra says, I don't want to talk to the fuel vendors, why don't you do it for us? So ultimately we found ourselves in a position where all the parties wanted to trust us and trust our capability of getting them all on one page and do this as a service, and that's how we started out. So we also have James Abraham, who's recently come on board our advisory panel. He is ex-head of Boston Consulting Group and has recently found Sunborn Energy in India, providing small grid solar solutions in the country. We also have Mr. Shailendra Shukla, who's a visionary man. He's the head of Chhattisgarh Renewable Energy Development Authority and also the director of CBDA, which is our fuel vendor. Both Mr. Shukla and Mr. Maru provide our liaising with the government in terms of understanding the policy, understanding where it's headed, and how we can work with or around it. We've got a lot of coverage in the media and have won a couple of significant awards. I want to talk very briefly about this image over here. This is a test that was that we were made to do by the Wall Street Journal on live camera, where we were asked to take a white wet handkerchief and place it against the exhaust pipe of our car. The green car that you see over there is actually a demo vehicle. And that's my managing director. He placed that white handkerchief next to the exhaust pipe. We were asked to rev it as much as we could, and the white handkerchief came out white, showing that particulate matter is next to negligible when you use biodiesel in your car. Like I said, we've also been fortunate enough to be covered by a lot of reputed organizations. And we were recently, I was in LA And I recently won the inaugural Green Business Space Camp Investor pitch over there. So what would we like to do in the 3-year time frame that we have? We would obviously like to have our 300 cars on the road. The 3 cities that I mentioned over there are Delhi, Bombay and Bangalore. These are the cities that we would like to start out with because that is where most of the corporates are and most of the corporate fleets are centered. We would also like to diversify our car portfolio because the Mahindra Scorpio is obviously not accepted as a very luxurious vehicle by, say, the hospitality industry. And for that reason, we would like to tie up with more vehicle manufacturers. We would like to build a more experienced operations and financing because ultimately it's a leasing solution and you need a very, very solid team to come on board to manage the whole operation set. And we would like to diversify the use of green fuels to other platforms such as generators, which is another significant user of diesel in our country. I live in Gurgaon and I know how much diesel gets used to give us the 16 hours of electricity that the Haryana government refuses to give us. So what do we, well, with the 300 cars, we believe that we can post revenues of from 6.72 crores in the first year and bring it up to 23 crores almost in the third year. At an operating profit of 37 to 39%, we've been able to manage our costs pretty well at this scale, and we believe as we scale up further, we will be able to bring down these costs more. We don't expect to make any EBITDA in the first year. However, we will become profitable from year 2 onwards simply because the costs are more or less fixed. They don't go up. The corporate overheads are not very high. And once you have the supply chain in place, you simply build on it and there are no additional costs that you expect to get. Our funding requirement is split across the down payment for the cars because the rest of the payment can be done as a basic asset-backed funding. We would require certain money for the manpower for the operations and finance team that I mentioned. We would require 2.75 crores for working capital because most of the fuel payments, etc. have to be made in advance, whereas the payment cycles with corporates are very long, 45 to 60 days minimum. So we would require a certain amount of money for that. The 2.75 crores for fuel investments, very briefly, we would like to get onto the algae bandwagon, which is essentially going to be the only viable long-term solution for biodiesel. Currently, the feedstock that we are using are generation 2. Algae is generation 3 and at least a pilot stage proven to be 2,000 times the yields of Jatropha. So we expect significant benefits from that. So very quickly, the total funding requirement that we have is 16.5 crores or roughly $3 million. I would like to summarize with my theory of change again. If there are viable, sustainable alternative sources of fuel available in our country, the consumers will choose to move away from fossil fuels, which will bring down the cost, bring down the demand and therefore the cost of the inflation that we have in our country, and finally bring down the air pollution in our country. Thank you.